Now, if you'll recall, the bill would allow for the Diamondbacks to hang on to all sales tax that is garnered at the stadium and then any future developments around the stadium. So there's been a good deal of, I don't know if we want to say horse trading back and forth here, but then all of a sudden, the county got thrown in. The county doesn't get any sales tax proceeds from the stadium.
No, and that's the thing that's interesting here. The stadium's not owned by the county. People think the county owns the stadium. It's actually owned by what's called the stadium district. And the stadium district has no tax authority, doesn't bring in tax dollars. And, Chris, interestingly enough, the D-backs don't pay rent to the stadium district. They don't pay rent at all to use the stadium.
No, that was part of the deal with the last time that they threatened to leave was that they get to run the stadium, they get to run all the events, and they don't have to pay for anything. Basically, it is their stadium except that we hold the title. That's it.
Right. That's exactly right. So they can't sell it out from under us, but other than that, there's no real benefit to it. And so the county, as you pointed out, they get no tax dollars at all. The city of Phoenix makes some sales tax money. If things around there are charging sales tax, whatever the Phoenix sales tax is, they make some money there. And that's what this bill will do. It'll suck up that Phoenix money and put it into this. Phoenix is saying, no, it's even more than that. But for the county, that's going to require the county to, in essence, as I understand it, match whatever the city puts in. And the county doesn't have the benefit of offsetting it with tax dollars. It's just new. No. It's just a new giant expenditure that the county now has every single month.
Here's what the county said, and I'll pop my audio up this time. It sounds better on the radio when you can hear it. Oh, hang on here. And of course, now it doesn't want to start.
Against this.
Here we go.
That's because a 90-page amendment to the bill added this week calls for the county to also pay up and no longer includes money from player income taxes.
Establishes the county to pay an equal amount as the city.
This change didn't get much attention at a Senate hearing this week.
What?
This bill will cost Arizona taxpayers $1 billion, even as amended. And the Diamondbacks won't be paying half.
Unlike the city of Phoenix, Maricopa County doesn't collect sales tax at Chase Field.
Like Barry just said.
The county writing in a letter to Senator J.D. Mesnard, quote, "This amendment puts the county burden for stadium upkeep on the backs of county property taxpayers rather than those who visit the stadium. The county telling me any money they kick in would have to come from their general fund, and public safety makes up about half of their budget."
Okay, so does that mean we're cutting money from the sheriff's department?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Or we're raising taxes somewhere else in order to pay for the Diamondback Stadium. And, Chris, it's important to point out that the original bill here that Jeff, is it Winiger, put out, that did not have this county component in it. It was J.D. Mesnard did an amendment, and that amendment brought the county into this and started requiring the county to pay money. So now you have the city of Phoenix is against this. The county is against it. And look, I got to tell you, I'm a huge Diamondbacks fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I've been a season ticket holder since day one. I love the Diamondbacks. I want them here, and I want the stadium, and I want them to have money to go out and buy free agents and get what they need. But let's be upfront and honest about what we're asking the taxpayers to do here. If we're now going to say Maricopa County is going to pay millions and millions of dollars, not from tax dollars collected because the Diamondbacks are here, but just our own tax dollars that are otherwise going to other things we need, we should know that, and that should be part of this. It shouldn't be hidden.
That amendment also deleted the portion that would have allowed the team to hang on to income taxes paid by employees, including players. And when you've got players with $25 million contracts, you better believe that the income taxes paid in are pretty significant. Now, here's where I think this really chaps me, and that is, Barry, like you said, you're a season ticket holder, you're a fan. How's Jordan Montgomery doing?
He's doing all right.
Oh yeah, with the Tommy John surgery coming up.
You mean what? We're paying people that aren't working? I don't understand what you're asking me.
Well, not only are we paying them that are not working, but we paid him for a season last year where it didn't work. And so that's what $25 million we're talking about. That honestly is, and I get it. That's the cost of doing business. But that's not my cost of doing business.
No,
that's your cost of doing business. If you run a restaurant and you buy a super fancy refrigerator and it fails and you continue to fight with that thing and you've got food spoiling and you've got all this other stuff, the county, the city, the state, they don't come in and go, you know what? We understand. You're an important restaurant. We want you to have the best cooler out there. Why don't we help you with your infrastructure because of this mistake? That's not how it works. It's how business works.
Right. And look, the Diamondbacks are a very valuable property. I mean, Ken Kendrick bought this thing with other partners back in the early 2000s. He spent, I think, $238 million. It's worth like $1.4, $1.5 billion now. And
Right.
like, I don't begrudge him that. He took that risk, and there were times it looked bad, and that's fine. The other part of this, Chris, is if you remember a couple years ago when Doug Ducey was president and sports betting became a big thing, Ducey gave every team in Arizona a license to do sports betting. So the Diamondbacks, like the Cardinals and the Suns and everybody else, they own a sports betting license that lets them bring in FanDuel or MGM or whoever they want. That's what the Guy Fieri sports book at the Chase Field is.
Oh, yeah.
All of that is free money for the D-backs. Now, I don't know what they're making. It's not public. We don't know how much that's worth to the Diamondbacks, but that should be money. Why don't we say, hey, all that money goes right into the stadium thing? It's not enough. They need more. But look, should there be, in my opinion, should there be public contribution to these things? Yes. Is it a valuable asset to have a baseball team here in Phoenix and in Arizona? I think so. I think it's a good thing overall for the community. I think it makes us a major league city. I think all of that is good. We just lost the Coyotes. But let's be honest and upfront about what we're doing here, and let's make sure the D-backs are paying a really good, fair share of this. This piece of legislation, this is the other thing I don't like about it, does not require the Diamondbacks to pay anything. It says that the legislature finds they're going to pay $250, but they don't have to pay $250. And Chris, what happens if there's construction overages? What happens if it goes over budget? Who pays for that? What happens with the cost in 10 years when the Diamondbacks are saying, hey, we got to start doing more maintenance and we don't have money? Who's paying for that? That's what we should be thinking about here.
So that's the big concern for me, because we just did this dance not even 10 years ago, which is how they got that deal where they get to run the stadium, they get to keep all the profits from the stadium. Everything about the stadium is theirs except the title in hand. And again, that's a pretty sweet deal.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe, and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.